the smallest number of rubbish and then have to take from the drawer to make sure that you had two of either red.
Well done, Faye. Thank you. Sit down, okay? Anthony, can you come and read to me, please?
Mrs. Wyatts!
Where's your mum? Here, mate. You're all wet. What the hell's going on, Sal?
What is it, Laura? It's the middle of the night. We're all asleep. What's the matter? Oh, no, Laura. What have you done?
Ready when you are.
What have you done with the sheets?
All taken care of. No trouble. No trouble, eh, love?
Never before. I don't understand it.
No, it doesn't matter, Sal.
Just turn round, Laura. That's better. Almost finished, darling.
Yes. She has reading and writing difficulties, and her number work is poor.
That was last year. I asked you about her last year.
Yes.
And you said she was very happy.
Well, she was in the infants. Now she's in the juniors. That's when these things usually come to the surface. Any problems?
Yes. Laura can't read or write, can she?
It's not uncommon. I'm concerned, but I don't think you should feel unduly distressed about it. There are usually 2 or 3 slow learners in every class.
But why has it been ignored?
It hasn't, Mrs. Wyatt, and it won't be. Now she's in the juniors, we concentrate much more on the 3 R's.
But if she can't she be put in a special class?
I think we should consider that very carefully. Do you think she's disturbed about the new baby?
No.
Well, I'll speak to Miss Miles about her at the end of the day and see how she's been. But I think we should all get over yesterday before we decide to do anything.
She's not here today.
Oh?
We just felt it better not to.
Well, I think it's important not to overreact. She mustn't feel she can get away with it.
Laura? Just got to pop across the road for a minute. You stay there, look.
I want to come with you.
Stay there.
Florrie, you're all right in there? I've got Mr. Wyatt, Florrie. We're coming in. No. I'm coming in, Florrie. Just me, all right? No. Oh, dear. Now, don't be silly, Florrie. We've got to get you out somehow. I can manage. I know. You're slipping out of yourself.
Don't worry, Mrs. Lever. Soon have you out of there.
It's all right, Florrie. I'm not sure at all. Now, don't be silly, Florrie. Mr. Wyatt doesn't...
Look, I'll just lift you out of the tub, eh? And then I'll go, all right? No bother.
Enough of this, Florrie.
Okay.
You ready, Mr.
Yeah,
Wyatt?
I'm ready. Right, up you come. That's it. That's it.
That's it, Florrie.
Laura, look, I don't care. You can scream your guts out. You're going.
Please! Daddy, please take me home.
Look, what is the matter with you? All the other kids go to school. They don't scream their head off every bleeding morning, do they?
Take me home. Take me home.
Look, Laura.
Take me home.
Look, I've got to go to work. Where do you think the money comes from?
Please, Dad.
Look, I'm late for work now. I'm late.
I want to go home, Daddy.
I go to work, you go to school.
I don't want to go. Please, Dad.
Ow.
Please.
Come on. Ow.
No, I don't want to. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. Please. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. Please, Dad. Please.
Don't worry. Once you get in there.
It's all right,
I'm sorry, it's a bit upset at the moment.
Look, come on, Laura. Look, give it to me, Mr.
Look,
Wyatt.
come on, love. Come on, love.
No!
Look, come on, there's no need for all this.
Please, Daddy, please!
Look, Laura, I'm late for work.
Oh, it's all right, Mr. Wyatt. Now, look, come on, Laura. Look, you can come into the classroom with me. You needn't go swimming, all right?
I didn't know there was swimming today.
Laura!
Look, I don't have any of her stuff.
Look, it's all right. Look, Laura! Look, enough of all of this. I'm not going to have it. Look, everybody's looking at you. Now, come on.
No!
Look, I'm not sure about this. I mean, look at the state of it.
If you weaken now, you'll pay the price later.
No, it'll be okay.
But look, if
Thanks
you
very
don't
much.
get her in now, she'll never catch up. She'll never learn.
ought to be at work.
Yeah, I know.
They phoned you at work.
Who did?
It's Sally, your wife, love. They've taken her in.
Mr. Wyatt?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Your wife's in there.
Oh, is it all right if I take her a minute?
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay if I go a minute.
Of course.
Laura, I'm just going to go see your mum for a minute. Why don't you stay there?
Laura? Laura? Laura, why don't you sit down? Daddy will be back in a minute. Would you like to come sit next to me? Do you want a little sister or a little brother? Laura? Here. Come and sit over here.
I'll go back in a minute. They said it'll be quick.
Mr. Wyatt, I'm sorry, but when you came in, I didn't realise.
Realise what?
About your daughter. I didn't realise she's deaf.
Ah, yes. Mrs. Wyatt. Harper, Educational Welfare Officer. I sent you a note.
Yes. You better come in. It'll be easier this way.
And what else did the doctor say?
They could find nothing wrong with her. We took her to more than one.
Is she still deaf?
That wasn't all. She was very disturbed. It's taken weeks to get her right.
Is she still deaf?
No, she's not.
Good. If the child is fit and well, she should be in school.
She could go deaf again. There's no need to do that, Laura.
Oh, this is Laura. Hello, Laura.
Hello.
Please, use that. Sit down.
Now, Laura has been away from school for 1 3/4 terms now.
Yes.
Well, if she's got difficulties, we must sort them out.
She doesn't.
Well, she does have certain learning disabilities. We do know that, Mrs. Wyatt, and so do you.
Somebody else used that term. What does it mean?
Well, compared with other children, there's a lack of ability to grasp certain rudimentary functions.
You mean she's dim?
That's not the point, and you know that.
Do you think she's retarded?
I don't know, Mrs. Wyatt. The point is that Laura can only get worse through neglect. If you carry on like this, you could have a severely maladjusted child on your hands. She needs help. We'd like her to see the educational psychologist again.
Again?
Yes, she's already been seen by a psychologist at the school. Did you not know that?
No, I didn't.
The point is, as long as Laura's not in school, she's not learning anything. Is she? Now, the child has to be pointed in the right direction.
I don't think there's anything wrong with Laura.
Good. Then she should be in school.
I don't think there's anything wrong with Laura, except school.
Ah, I see. Everything and everybody's wrong except my child.
Mr. Harper, I don't believe in force. And I have no intention of forcing Laura into something that does her harm. Into something she hates. She's made that perfectly clear. And I trust Laura, Mr. Harper. I trust her. Excuse me. What are you doing, love?
I'm taking Michael for a walk.
Mind the stairs.
I won't be long.
I'll help you out with the pram.
I'll do it.
See you later.
Mrs. Wyatt, has she ever done that before?
No, never.
Is that wise? Well, Mrs. Wyatt, you have to send your child to school. That's the law.
Laura doesn't want to go to school.
If you provoke the authorities, they'll have to take action.
I'm not looking to provoke anybody.
We also have responsibilities. We have the right to intervene on behalf of the child.
What would happen?
If you don't send her?
Yes.
Well, you'll be served with a school attendance order instructing you to send your child to school.
If not?
Well, you'll be summoned.
Then what if we still don't send her to school?
Well, let's hope it doesn't get that far.
What if it does come to that?
Your child could be taken away. She could be put into care.
It is the duty of the parent of every child of compulsory school age to cause him to receive efficient full-time education suitable to his age, ability, and aptitude, either by regular attendance at school or otherwise.
Yes, Your Honour. The law expressly preserves the freedom for parents not to send their children to school.
Yes.
Mrs. Wyatt, you've been in court on a number of occasions for failing to send your children, Laura and Michael, to school. You pleaded guilty on those occasions.
Yes, guilty to not complying with the school attendance orders. But we're not guilty of failing to provide our children with a proper education.
That is a matter of opinion, not of fact, Mrs. Wyatt. That is the nature of your appeal.
Precisely, Your Honour. Mrs. Wyatt, at the time you first took Laura out of school, she was having great difficulty with her reading and writing.
She could not read at all.
Can she read and write now?
Yes, she can, but only to herself.
And Michael?
He cannot read at all.
How old is Michael?
11.
He is 11, and he cannot read at all.
You've told us how Laura went deaf.
Yes. At school, she was required to read and write. Laura understood what was required of her, but could not do it.
Because of the dyslexia?
That's right.
How did you discover Laura was dyslexic?
On the advice of a friend, we approached a Dr. Powell. She diagnosed dyslexia.
Your Honour, I would ask the court to note that what was diagnosed in Laura was not in any sense a disability. Essentially, dyslexia is a difference in the capacity of ease with which a child acquires certain skills, particularly reading and writing.
Laura's educational history is only of interest to this court inasmuch as it informs us of the educational approach to Michael. He is the only one of school age.
That is correct, Your Honour.
Is Michael dyslexic?
We believe he is, yes.
Has Michael been diagnosed as dyslexic by Dr. Powell or any other expert?
No, Your Honour. He's never been tested or assessed by any expert.
And yet you believe him to be dyslexic?
Yes.
Why have you not confirmed this?
Because it wouldn't alter our approach to his education.
I beg your pardon?
Because it wouldn't alter our approach to his education.
Michael cannot read and write.
No.
Does that concern you?
I believe it's important he learns to read and write, yes. But I don't believe it's for me to impose on him how or when he should do this. I believe he'll learn in his own time.
What are you doing to teach him to read?
It's his need to learn to read and write that matters most. My job is to watch and see what sparks his interest, and to follow that, provide for that, even if it doesn't appear to make sense at first.
But Michael still cannot read.
No.
So that does not solve the problem, does it?
Dad?
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Could you fill me a drum? Give me a bite to eat, boss?
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Hang on a minute.
Tired.
How is your approach different to the approach of a school?
We don't sit down and do lessons. We don't have a set routine, a curriculum. We concentrate very much on what they enjoy doing. We don't set standards. We don't give them so many marks out of 10 for anything they do.
Who decides on what activity is to be followed?
They do. They must decide for themselves.
They are allowed to follow whatever activity they choose?
Yes.
For as long as they like?
Yes.
And no one ever corrects them? Not even if they've taken the wrong decision?
Children are very quick to abandon what doesn't interest them.
Don't you feel that sometimes they must be made to face a difficult task in order to learn?
No, never. They must set their own standards.
So in your system, if it is a system, children do not have to measure up to any objective standards in what they're doing?
We don't tell our children what to do or how to do it. They must decide for themselves. It's not a soft approach, it's very tough. The world is changing quickly and violently. They must have the ability to make their own decisions, to create their own standards. We have not taught our children. We've enabled them to teach themselves.
I'll get a caravan rent-free, working for a lorry firm. I've got a sense of direction. I like the paths, away from the roads, across the fields. Been to Canada, railroading, riding on the big locomotives. Walking, Norman Wells, Fort Good Hope, Fort Independent, Fort Wrigley, Fort Resolution, the Great Slave Lake, Yellowknife on the Slave, over the top to Great Bear, into the Arctic Circle. Eskimos and Ibizu Indians there. Came back to this country just before the war. I lived in a hut, Napes Wood, for 29 years, 4 months. Then Social Security wanted to help. Rehabilitation. So I left. If you've lived a tough life, you've got to live it till you die. Get soft. It won't last long.
If Michael wrote a story or a letter, if he could write, would you correct it?
If he asked me to correct it, yes.
If not, you would leave it uncorrected. You would allow him to send the letter uncorrected.
Yes, I would. What's important is the child's sense of achievement, not the quality of the spelling or the punctuation.
And yet, Michael is 11 and cannot read.
Not yet. Laura can read.
Laura did not learn to read until she was 16. Do you not think she might have learned to read much earlier if she'd gone to school in the usual way?
That's not important. You keep looking for a standard. You must be here at such and such a time. That's a fiercely competitive attitude, and it sets people against each other right from the start.
Better not get too close, we'll never get out. It's dead soft here.
Can I get to the posh?
No, we can lug it out for a minute. Right.
Do you not think the knowledge and experience of adults, you in particular, has anything to offer your children by guiding them?
By guiding them, no.
Then how is the child to learn?
When you push people into doing things, you drive them away from their own true interests.
I was talking of guidance.
I think it's the same thing. Guidance, control, structure. To me, it's all the same thing. You assume the children will not learn anything useful unless we, the adult, guide them and show them how.
Most children will learn very little if left to their own devices.
It depends on the quality of the environment we provide for them.
But I repeat, Mrs. Wyatt, how is the child to learn?
You speak about learning as if it was the last thing children wanted to do.
You are doing absolutely nothing to cope with the complex difficulties Michael has with reading and writing.
We've changed our whole lives. We've presented long lists and schedules to the court as evidence of our efforts to create a learning environment. There is a limit to what I can tell you. If you want to know more, the best way is to see for yourself.
That is not out of the question. The court may decide to do that, Mrs. Wyatt. Isn't this the point? Aren't a lot of children a bit lazy? If you get someone who is a bit lazy, you may find that he doesn't want to learn to read. Does he not then need a little external stimulation in the form of a prod?
Roach, dace,
Rudd,
carp, perch, minnows, pike.
mackerel.
No.
Yeah, skate, haddock, cotton chips.
It's deep, really deep.
Yeah, what can you see?
Loads of weeds, all waving. It's really clear, you can see right down to the bottom.
Yeah, what else?
Nothing, just water. How deep is it?
Oh, about 30 feet.
That's deep.
Yeah, that's why you should be wearing a life jacket.
I can swim.
What, with your boots and clothes on?
How do you know it's 30 feet?
Well, I don't exactly. Could be more. Well, you could always measure it.
Oh.
6-foot rule. Jump in, keep going till you hit the bottom. You lean any further over there, you go arse over tip, mate.
You can see everything, Dad. I saw a face. The man, isn't it? The man who came to the house? The man who had the sandwiches?
Yeah.
You frightened, Dad?
No, yeah, well, a bit, yeah. Wonder how he got in there, eh?
Is he dead?
Yeah, should think so, mate. Dead as mutton. Here.
We're going home, Dad.
Yeah, we've got to tell somebody. Can't leave him down there, can we? Get the police, they'll do with it.
Will he stay where he is, or will he move? Can't see him anymore. How will they get him out, Dad?
Oh, they got all the right gear to get him out.
What do they do?
Well, tell you the truth, mate, I don't really know. But don't worry about it. They'll get him out all right. Come on.
Can we watch?
Your Honor, I believe that laziness is what happens when children have their initiative taken away from them. We give children the idea that parents, teachers, someone other than themselves has all the answers, and their part is simply to do as they're told and learn. That's what happens in schools. That's the system. And unless you have the money, there are no other alternatives than to take your children out of school.
You don't particularly like the state system, do you, Mrs. Wyatt?
Since taking my children out of school, I've learnt an awful lot about it.
You have very little time for it.
It's not beyond criticism.
If left to his own devices, Michael might be 30 or 40 before he learns to read. Or he may not learn to read at all.
We have considered the possibility. It just means he must have more confidence than the average person to be able to stand up and say, I cannot read.
But that may not be necessary, Mrs. Wyatt, when a little bit of guidance and control could make all the difference.
If a child is 100% absorbed in what he or she is doing, I cannot see that I would be the one to stop them and point them in another direction.
Surely, even in an alternative education system, would it not be both desirable and essential for the child, particularly a dyslexic child, to receive some kind of guidance from the adult?
But to do that, we presume that the adult knows best. Trust us, do what we the adult tell you, and your future will be secure. Why do we never consider unconditioning the adult mind and not conditioning the child?
Oi! What are you doing? He went in here! What have you got? Bag!
It's the man's bag.
Right. Here! He went in here! What the hell was he doing there?
Looking.
He was what, Michael?
Looking. He's looking in the water.
You reckon? Well, you might be right. Now, there ain't much to look at, is there? John! See if you can find his hat. What? Look for a hat! Right! Got him! Right. They got the bugger! They got him. Now, Mr. White, I ain't too happy about this. I'm not happy at all.
I had a word with him. He says he wants to stay and have a look.
It's not pleasant, you know. I think you should take him home. Get him out of it. Bloody awful sight. Won't do him a mite of good. None of us. Won't make anybody's day.
How many days is it since you saw him alive?
At least a week.
Can't you whisk the lad off home, put your foot down? It's not going to be pleasant for him.
Right. Michael, come here. They're bringing the body out now.
I know.
Sergeant and the doctor seen this sort of thing before. They reckon you ought not to stay.
Do I have to go?
No, don't have to if you don't want to.
I want to stay.
All right, fair enough. He wants to stay.
All right. I got it. Malcolm!
Michael, when a body's been a week underwater, it can begin to decompose, go rotten. It may not, but I've seen it before and I don't like it very much. I'm sure you won't like it either. Are you sure you want to stay? If you want to stay, you can. But do say when you've had enough. It's remarkably well preserved for a week underwater. The water must be very clean. Get them in warm water, especially if there's effluent about, they blow up in no time. Awful discoloration at the root of the neck. Ray-gall's passed off. Bottom two buttons of the overcoat undone. Fly button undone.
Having a piss fell in, silly bugger, that's what he's done.
I'd say it was an accident, but he didn't die by drowning.
Oh, how'd he go then?
Asphyxia. There's no water in the lungs. Shock causes a spasm in the throat muscles. Water cannot enter the lungs. It's an unusual case. We'll have to do a post-mortem. Satisfied?
Right, boys, take away. John!
I've seen worse.
Finish! Home!
How long does it take?
What?
Drowning. How long does it take before you're dead?
Oh, not long.
How long?
5 minutes in fresh water. In salt water, in the sea, it can take 10.
I didn't know that. Why is that, then?
Blood's thicker than water. In fresh water, that is. Water goes into the lungs and is then drawn into the bloodstream. So you get blood dilution. The blood turns to water. Salt water is thicker than blood, so the process is reversed. Fluid is drawn from the blood, and you get blood concentration. It takes longer to die that way.
Why did they blow up?
Swell up, not blow up. Germs in the stomach generate gas, and the body swells up. If the water's warm and dirty, they probably will blow up.
What would have happened if he'd stayed in there a long time?
He'd disappear. Rot. Just leave a few old bones lying about the place.
Would that happen to me if I drowned?
Oh, it would happen to all of us. None of us is different in that respect.
Is it something to be afraid of?
Dying?
Well, if you're afraid and you worry about it all the time, you can't live, can you?
I wasn't afraid of being born, was I?
Miss Wyatt, if you had not been dyslexic, if you had been a perfectly normal, happy child, would you still be able to say that you had received an efficient, full-time and suitable education?
Yes, I would.
Apart from motor mechanics, roofing, painting and decorating and so on, you learned to thatch when you were 14. Is that correct?
I started when I was 14.
Yes, it must have taken a considerable amount of time.
It does.
Looking back, do you not wish your parents had guided you to some more relevant activity? Reading and writing, for example.
I did not learn to thatch at the expense of my reading and writing. Quite the reverse, in fact.
Thatching is hardly a prerequisite for life in our modern industrial society, is it?
Frankly, I do not think it is for you to judge whether my interest in thatching is relevant or not. My parents did not set out to educate us so that we could find jobs in industry.
You did not learn to read and write until you were 16 years of age, is that correct?
That is correct.
But you can read now?
Yes.
If I gave you something to read now, an article in this magazine, for example, would you be able to read it?
Yes, I've just said I can read.
Very well. Could I ask you to read this article to the court?
I'm not very good at reading aloud.
You cannot read aloud?
I find it difficult.
But you can read?
Yes.
If you read the article to yourself, would you understand what you'd read?
What is the article about?
It is about cooking.
I can cook, so I'd probably understand it.
Very well. Could I ask you to look at the article? Do you understand the article?
Yes.
What is the article about?
Cooking.
Yes, I told you the article is about cooking. Are you able to go into a little detail?
Yes, I am.
Very well. Can you give us some detail of the content of the article?
Yes, I can.
Then will you please do so?
No.
Perhaps we're at cross purposes. Are you refusing to tell the court what you've read about in the article?
Yes, I am.
What is your reason?
You are trying to test me. I do not wish to be tested.
This is not a test. I simply wish to establish if you're able to read or not.
I can read. I have told you I can read.
The request is reasonable, Miss Wyatt. Mr. Healy simply wishes to establish your basic level of reading comprehension. We might then go on to ask how you have achieved this.
I have said I can read, Your Honor.
You cannot read aloud.
I find it difficult.
So how are we to know how well you can read?
I can read well.
Then you have nothing to fear. Please answer Mr. Healy's question.
Miss Wyatt, can you please tell the court, and please refer to the magazine if you so wish to, what is the article you have before you about?
This is an article explaining a diet which does not involve cooking. It says the cook-free diet is fresh, fruity, and fun. The chip pan fry-up is a thing of the past. It explains that fruit and vegetables provide most of our vitamin C, half our vitamin A, some B complex, E, and K. To get the most from your vegetables, buy them farm fresh and crunchy, never when they're wilting. Following this kind of a diet, a person can lose up to 6 pounds in the first week and an average 2.5 pounds a week after that. Super summer diet to bring you and your man down to size. Is that what you want?
Good afternoon. Michael,
That's right.
I am from the court.
I know.
Good. Your father and mother are in court for failing to send you to a proper school. I suppose you know about that too. I am here to see what you can do and where you do it. My name is Wood.
I know.
And you are Michael.
I know.
I hope this isn't going to be a sullen occasion. Your parents aren't here today, are they?
No.
You see, I know something too.
Do you want to conduct a tour?
No, thank you.
There's loads to see if you want.
I'm sure. Is that what your mother said?
She told me to tell you to help yourself.
Oh, I'm fine, thank you, Michael. I'm just here to tag along with you. Follow the child, as your mother says. Where is Laura?
She's plumbing a house down the road.
What are you doing to the boat?
I welded this joint. There was a leak along here. It's all right now, though. My welding's still a bit rough.
Oh, yes. Welding. Most interesting.
Sit over there if you want.
You carry on, Michael.
I am. bugger.
What is wrong?
This bloody thing is always blowing fuses. There's something wrong with it.
Do you swear a lot?
Not much, do you?
Only on occasion. Is it your boat?
Me and Dad built it in the summer.
And now it's full of holes.
No, it's not.
That need not have happened.
Keep your foot halfway down.
That's what I'm doing, Michael.
Take your foot off. Take your foot off. Move over. Find the gear stick.
Where are we going?
I'll show you.
I'm sure, but that doesn't answer my question.
You want to come?
Are you planning to take this vehicle onto the highway?
How can I? It's not taxed and there's no MOT. Further.
Don't let that concern you, Michael. It's a miracle we got this far. I presume you're intending to launch this thing.
We're sitting on top of 30 feet of water.
Really?
Do you want to take a look?
I can see, thank you.
You can use this. You can see right down to the bottom.
I really don't think I should hang over the edge, do you?
You'll be all right.
Well, I'm sure. I think we've taken on a bit of water.
Do you want to carry on? You ready?
I thought this was it. Where else is there to go?
I want to show you something.
We're going to hit the reeds.
I know. Look. There it is. Look, really big, isn't it?
What kind of nest is it?
It's a heron's.
Oh, yes, of course. A heron's nest, yes.
This is special, this nest.
Steady.
Eggshell.
Tell me, Michael, how many species of heron are there in the British Isles?
How many what?
How many kinds of heron?
I don't know.
Is there more than one?
They don't nest in reed beds in England. They nest in trees, big oak trees.
What is their wingspan?
Pretty big. They nest in marshes in Holland, but not here. Not for 100 years.
And we've gone and scared it off for another 100. Isn't it a bit unusual for the bird to still be on the site, on the nest, at this time of the year?
Do you know about herons?
No, I don't. I'm just drawing on a rather slim store of ornithological knowledge. Very slim. Look here. We're definitely shipping water. It's gushing about in the bottom. We'll soon have more in than out.
It's not coming in where I mended it.
Does that matter? My God! Here's a spot. It's gushing in.
There's a duck bird missing. I bet you did it when you jumped into the boat.
Does it really matter? Jumped? Michael, I think we should head for the shore. Michael, we are taking on water in considerable quantities.
It's all right. We're safe.
Michael, the sodding thing is sinking. The sodding thing is sinking.
It doesn't really matter.
We're going down fast.
It's very shallow here. That's why the reeds grow on the side.
We're sinking. It's cold.
We'll have to wait.
Yes. Blast! God!
Are you angry?
Yes. Quite angry. Throttle.
No, we've warmed it up. She should start to go.
How do you propose to move this vehicle when the back axle is stuck in 6 feet of mud?
I'll have a go.
I'm sure you will.
What's the matter?
Starter motor's seized up. We need spanners and a hammer.
Have you got them?
No.
Where's the crank?
Back at the yard.
You're making quite a day of it, aren't you?
Don't worry.
You're really having a day.
It doesn't matter.
You've blown up the workshop.
It was only the fuse.
Fuse is blown. You've destroyed and virtually sunk this monstrosity.
We'll soon sort it out.
You've certainly sunk the boat. Do you realize we could have drowned out there? You could have drowned, boy. Do you hear? Drowned. You could have drowned us both.
God, I'm soaked. And the bloody motor starter's stuck.
We only bought the van to keep chickens in, and it's been going for 3 years.
Chickens? Is this all part of a normal day?
No.
Creative learning, follow the child. My God, how would it be following 1,500 children in the average comprehensive? I think you're for the high jump, boy.
Pardon?
Have you sucked the boat before? Is it a habit?
No, it wasn't the bit I mended.
You are for the high jump.
I don't know what you mean.
I mean your father, your old man, is going to put a boot to your backside when he sees this.
No.
That's what I mean.
Look, they might give us a shove. They came down here before.
Children on a nature walk. They couldn't fix a starter motor, could they? Duffers. We don't have to go back down the track, do we, Michael? There must be a shortcut back to the house.
Across the field.
Good.
Now listen. Stop it, listen. I don't want you to get in a big clump so you can't see anything. Right? David, what are you doing? Well, that's because it's wet. Now get back in.
What are you going to do, eh?
I don't know.
Don't know, ought to know.
Why are you trying to frighten me?
What are you going to do if you want to be a doctor, a solicitor? What are you going to do? How are you going to get your qualifications?
You mean exams?
I mean exams. If you want to make something of your life, you'll have to pass exams.
Did you take lots of exams?
Yes, I did.
Did you pass them all?
Yes, I did.
What if you hadn't passed them?
Then I'd be a duffer and I wouldn't be where I am today. Clifton, Balliol, second in history, first in law, Queen's Counsel onto the bench, honorary fellow Balliol, President Clifton, British member to the Permanent Court of Arbitration at The Hague, and I didn't get any of that sitting around waiting for the urge to strike me. Michael. Tired.
It's ready.
Yes. Thank you.
Give me your clothes, I'll stick them on Yaga.
Yes.
All right.
Very acceptable.
I've hung your clothes on the Yaga. They're pretty wet. I've put some Radox in there.
Do you normally do this? Stare at people in the bath?
I believe it is customary in most houses to leave people to take a bath in private.
I often talk to people in the bath. I talk to Dad in the bath.
I am not Dad.
You've got blue lumps on your legs. You're old, aren't you?
Well, I'm not exactly teetering on the edge of the pit. Not just yet.
Do you expect to die soon?
I think I'm good for a few years yet, thank you. This is a most unpleasant line of questioning. Can we not pick a less enervating topic?
Are you my friend?
What do you make of all this fuss, Michael? Countless officials and experts expensively involved in trying to get you into school, just so that you can read, write, and do your sums. What's to be done, hmm? You can't read a dicky, can you? The 3 R's. Where else is one to begin? Where? How old are you, Michael?
11.
11. When I was 11, my father took a diplomatic post in the East. The Middle East, actually. And I was packed up and sent off to boarding school here in England. I didn't like it very much, and I cried quite a lot. I wasn't that tough. Not really. I'm not here to hurt you, Michael, or your feelings. Every child has a right to read, write, and do their numbers. It is not a punishment to be sent to school and learn how to read, do you know? It is your right, hard fought for and won. I am here to protect your rights, Michael. I am here as your friend.
Be upstanding in court.
In giving judgment in this case, let me say at the outset that we do not think we are dealing here with parents who are in any way indifferent to the education of their children. These are not parents who are prepared to let their children play truant from school on the specious excuse they will learn as much at home. They are responsible and caring people who are trying to give their children a proper upbringing to fit them for adult life. In our judgment, however, the academic skills of reading, writing, and arithmetic are fundamental to any efficient education for life in the modern world.